What rank do you think a Platinum Valorant player can achieve in Overwatch? Will it be easier or much harder to rank up? Because both games may be shooters, but they have a lot of differences in their gameplay. Of course, they also have similarities. There's a reason why they call Valorant the love child of CSGO and Overwatch. So I wanted to find out how well my Valorant skills translate into this game and what the biggest struggle will be. Dude, this is insane. For context, I did play the original Overwatch a lot many years ago, so I'm not completely clueless about how to play. And just like Valorant, it also has a practice range where we will quickly see the first big difference: projectile weapons. In Valorant, every gun is hit scan, meaning you click, shoot, and within the same frame the bullet lands. Easy enough. This allows you to just point and click on things while being 100% accurate, not calculating in the recoil, of course. While Overwatch has many characters with projectile guns, meaning you shoot and after some delay the shot would land. This adds a whole other dimension to aiming. Some guns even have a shorter range and others have bullet drop, so for long distance it drops down a bit like Hanzo's arrows. And then there's more special guns like Symmetras, which is just a beam that requires heavy tracking, or some electricity like this, which requires zero tracking. Torbjorn can even deploy a turret that shoots for him. Wait. So for a Valorant player to do well in Overwatch, I think it's best to stick with hit scan guns. It's also best to stick with the DPS characters. It's like the duelists from Valorant, because even though you have roles in Valorant including smokers, controllers and initiators, in Overwatch the roles are way more significant. You have supports where their main role is just healing and helping teammates, not shooting back, unless you want to get flamed. In Valorant, any role can buy the same guns and frag out, so even if you're supposed to be a support of the team, you can still be the top fragger. Tanks have to be the front line of the team and have a leading role. They could also frag out, but they mainly need to protect their backline and make space. So the role that deviates the least from the Valorant playstyle is DPS. They just gotta get the kills. We have 10 placement games to go. Predicted rank silver 2. Are you fucking kidding? And this will determine my starting rank. Now for these 10 games, I'll mainly be playing Widowmaker, Cassidy, and Soldier 76. Widow is probably the easiest to understand. You click on a head, they die. Very similar to using a Vandal or a sniper in Valorant. Of course, tanks will be a bit harder to deal with. This hero is probably the one with the highest skill floor in Overwatch, since you rely purely on raw aim. That's it. And then Cassidy is a lot like playing with the Sheriff. You can kill opponents quickly with some headshots or just body shots, but you cannot really one-shot anything. So reliable damage output for people with good aim. And then there is Soldier. This is like spraying someone down with a Phantom or a Spectre. Tracking is most important, but if you're good at it, it shreds enemies like there's no tomorrow. These three are the ones that I think will best use the skill set that I have from grinding so much Valorant, because most other heroes have very different style weapons or rely a lot more on movement and ability. On that note, let's discuss movement, because Jesus Christ, there is a lot of movement. What is going on? Everyone is running and jumping all the time. You have grappling hooks, you have dashes, massive leaps, literal flying with multiple heroes, wall riding. You can even dig in the fucking ground. What about some teleportation, huh? Oh yeah, there's multiple characters that do that, by the way. If you want, you can even roll around like some stupid bowling ball, knocking over. Anyway, it's a bit more than just b-hopping and strafing. There's also no decreased accuracy when moving, so you can literally do a 360 in the air and still be 100% accurate when landing a shot, which is a massive thing in this game. You don't have to strafe in that zone to land a shot. You can literally do it while you're performing the strafe or doing a jump. It can be kind of compared to ulting with Neon. While moving, you're accurate and have to constantly readjust your crosshair. So playing a hero that requires good aim like Cassidy and Widow honestly feels a lot harder than aiming in Valorant. You can't just hold angles most of the time and take some calm duels. No, you're in a permanent war zone with enemies zooming around. Dude, where the fuck are they? And you are zooming around as well to dodge bullets. There's a much higher emphasis on flicking and tracking. But at the same time, I feel like this is really good practice. If you play a lot of Cassidy or Soldier, I think your general tracking and flicking in Valorant will also improve by a lot. One other massive difference is that you need to eliminate whoever you are fighting, because even bringing them low to like 1 HP is not enough. They will just heal back to full in a couple seconds. In Valorant, any damage you inflict is massive. There's not damage healing in the game, so you can take engagements very slow and shift focus to other targets. This is why Widowmaker is so hard to have good impact with. If you don't hit the one taps but just do some body shots, you are not doing much. So my first couple placement games went pretty well. The games go way quicker, but that's also because of the game modes that they have. In Valorant, you only have one game mode for ranked: Plant Spike, or defend from the spike. And if you die in a round, you have to sit back and just watch for a bit. Overwatch is constant action. You die and respawn right away, fighting for some objective. This can be either controlling an area, pushing some big ass robot, or advancing a card. You have brawls breaking out all the time, and it's up to the team themselves to group up and push instead of running in alone and dying over and over. It's honestly pretty exhausting. Dude! Valorant is just short bursts of focus and attention when you're playing out the round. Overwatch is just like constant focus where you can't take much time for a breather, because before you know it, there's another stupid hero flanking your backline. Brother! There's also no ammo in this game, so people are just spam shooting everywhere. Like some annoying Junkrat in the corner just launching bombs continuously on a common choke point so people run into it, or a Bastion just spraying it down. The next few placements I was taking it hard and learning some big lessons. Angles. They are so important, especially when playing Widowmaker. Now, don't get me wrong, they're also important in Valorant, but stuff like taking the high ground or just being able to snipe their backline is so important. Because if you're just shooting at their tank, you don't achieve much. Or if you're vulnerable to certain angles, you'll get sniped a lot yourself. Man. The second lesson is that countering in this game is so easy. Almost every hero has a couple easy counters. Dude, I swear to God, you cannot play with certain fucking characters in the game. Are you having a Widow shoot your backline? Just dive her with Tracer, Genji, or Winston. Too much burst in the front line? Just get a big ass shield. And are they flying in the air? Just get a hit scan again. It's just rock, paper, scissors. And so because I was mainly playing the same heroes, I had to keep switching between them because they kept switching too. And I did not want to deviate off my hit scan plan. The final big lesson is that tanks and supports actually have such a massive impact on the game as well. For example, we were facing a diva that just tilted the living hell out of me. No way! She was way too good at protecting her team, making space, diving into us, and got insane healing, so whenever they went low, they just got back up to full HP right away. We were making no progress. And meanwhile, it felt like we had no front line and just got out healed so much. I'm not entirely sure how correct this is, but I feel like some games were helpless. Like, no matter what I did, I could not increase my impact or try to carry. In Valorant, however, you can. Do you remember those games where there's like a single smurf on the team that just aces every round, drops 40 kills? Anyone can basically step up and make an impact.
Nice, good job.
Thank you. In all of the Overwatch games I played, it never really felt like I encountered a smurf. Sure, some people were really good, but they could not pull it off without the proper team play. What? Doing a 1v5 is fairly impossible. So to some degree, I'd always be at the mercy of how good my teammates are. Alright. A short recap so far. Games are much more chaotic and move way quicker. You have to constantly be running and jumping and flick to other running and jumping targets. It honestly feels like you'll just rank up much easier playing some cheesy characters and focusing on counters rather than trying to use your aim. But it is really good practice. Good team play and coordination seems really important, and you want to confirm kills rather than just do damage. Also important to mention that some targets have way higher priority than others, because you can keep shooting at a tank and nothing happens, but take out their healers first and they instantly crumble. So as a DPS, that was my main task. Deal the damage that matters, not just shooting randomly. For those of you watching this video that never actually played Overwatch, it might just seem like a lot of the gameplay is permanent seizure-inducing chaos. Abilities are just incredibly important. Think of it like a raise grenade or a jet dash or a sage wall. Well, Junkrat has a mine that he can use on cooldown, basically a grenade. Genji can also dash on cooldown, and Mei can spam walls until there is no tomorrow. Brother, they have a fucking immortality field on cooldown, and you can resurrect people from the dead on cooldown. Abilities are very, very strong and can be used many times. So sure, in Valorant they're also impactful, but you can easily frag out just holding your gun. In Overwatch, they might be better than your gun. There's no fucking way. I am going to lose my mind. There's also no economy, so you don't need to worry about saving or spending or what abilities you buy. You basically just run it down every round. The main economy in this game is the ultimates. They're probably the biggest similarity that I could find between both games, because in both Overwatch and Valorant they're important to play around, be aware of, there's no way, time correctly, and can either have negative impact or be a full team wipe. The hardest thing is just constantly keeping track of this because, as I mentioned before, you don't have much time to take breaks. My placements are back to being 50-50, but overall I still felt like I was outperforming most people in my games. And I'm actually enjoying it. Valorant can be very tactical and slow at times. This is basically the ADHD injected version of that. Faster, more stimulating, permanently running it down vibes that require high focus when aiming. What was the strangest to me was that nobody used their mic. In all the games I played, I only had a few people say hello back to me, and that was about it. Hello?
What's up, man?
Even though communication also seems incredibly important. I assume that higher ranks have more comms, but I still feel like I was playing solo most of the time. I also think there's way more kids playing this game. The amount of petty insults and messages I had to read was mind-numbing. Or just people being toxic to be toxic whenever they're losing. Overall, I enjoyed playing ranked. I felt pretty good at it and I didn't get too tilted most of the time. Okay, that was a lie. I hate this fucking game. But I got play of the game in like half of the matches I played. Now, with my placement matches finally done, I ended up in gold 1. So I just played one more game, won, and now I am plat 5. Oh, I'm plat? Okay. Which is exactly what my Valorant is like. After the reset, I got moved into gold 3 and ranked up to platinum 1. I honestly did not expect to end up on the exact same rank. Overwatch in my head just seems way easier to play, especially because my aim should be so much sharper. But in practice, it needs a whole different skill set. Aim isn't even that important on most heroes, and there's definitely easier ways to have more impact. Now, out of curiosity, I played a few more matches and I noticed I gain so much more points than I lose. So I'd still have a bonus to climb probably up to diamond, especially since I still outperform most other DPS players in this rank. However, I do feel very similar when I play ranked in Valorant. But if there's one tip that I can give for any shooter, is to just click on the head.